welcome to the Conservative Continuum. I'm MicMeow. Today we've got two special guests for you, Scott Esk and Valerie Walker. They're both running for House District 87, and they want to tell you why you should vote for them. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Conservative Continuum. I'm MicMeow. Today I have two wonderful guests with me. They are both running for House District 87, Scott Esk and Valerie Walker. Thank you both so much for joining us today. They're going to be giving us lots of information. So, this is a safe space. We have our safe zone here. You won't see any horrific battles today, but you will find out a lot about these candidates, and they're both wonderful. I'm going to ask you both different questions so that the voters have an opportunity to see you, hear about your platform, who you are, and just give us as much information as you can, okay? All right, get the snack later. Let's go. All right, Scott, let's start with you. Tell us briefly a little bit about yourself. I'd kind of like to know why you're running for state representative and what you think the voters need to know about you.
Okay. I've been in Oklahoma most of my life now. I have grown in my political awareness over the years. Back in the late 80s, I got a hold of some really eye-opening literature. I remember it's kind of a legendary book now, None Dare Call It Conspiracy. And there was one called None Dare Call It Treason that really opened my eyes to knowing how we got into the terrible situation we've gotten into through the decades, compared to what we started out being, what the Founding Fathers made us at the beginning. And I have never thought that we were beyond getting back to that, what the Founding Fathers gave us, but it's going to be, we didn't get into this mess overnight, and we're not going to get out of it overnight. But with a lot of good hard work and the right people that believe as the Founding Fathers and are guided by divine wisdom from God's Word, from the Bible, we can get back to that. I'm 55, it's my age. I've like to think I've learned a few things in my 55 years of life on this earth, and I've become a father and father of 3 and a grandfather of 2 so far. Many more to come, I'm sure. And I am concerned for, of course, their future. I want to stand for the Constitution against an out-of-control federal government. I read a book just a few years back. It's not been out nearly as long as the other ones I mentioned. It's called Nullification by Thomas Woods. And it was a very eye-opening book. There, you can also see YouTube videos that he's made that draw from that book, if you want a quick idea of what it's like. But basically, the states have the right to say whether or not the federal government is being constitutional in its behavior, and of course, it's been unconstitutional in the vast majority of its behavior lately. And we need to get back to where the Founding Fathers were. We don't ask the federal government, we don't ask the federal courts, any of them to rectify these situations. Just a really great example, Roe versus Wade is a decision that the Supreme Court made. They're not legislators, they have no right to make law, and they imposed their opinion upon us in 1973. 1973, all 50 states should have said, you have a right to your opinion, but you have no right to impose it upon us. We are a sovereign state, and we will go ahead and do whatever we were doing before. And you have no power over us. But that's my big thing that I think it is the most vexing problem that we have in Oklahoma. But
I want to go to Valerie. Valerie, I want to give you an opportunity here to tell us briefly about yourself, why you're running as state representative, and what the voters of House District 87 need to know about you.
I am a lifelong Oklahoman. I was born in a small town west of the city. Like I said, I've lived here all my life, in between Oklahoma City and the farm, as we call it, as it is. And I graduated from U.S. Grant. Shout out to Tommy Johnson. And what else do you need to know about me? My name means strong, and the reason I'm gonna jump back and forth. The reason I'm running for House District 87 is because the current legislature that is there believes in that killing babies are okay, and it's certainly not. And so I was driven to file and run just to unseat him, really, because I don't believe that the vast majority of the citizens of Oklahoma or our district believe that abortion is okay. And so that was a driving force for me to file. Scott and I were discussing it earlier before the taping, but I have volunteered in the community. In fact, when I was 15, is when it started. My mom and I were in a restaurant. We saw a gentleman who couldn't afford to pay for his meal, and so Mom went over there, and I said, "You have to give him money." And she's like, "We can't do this. We can't walk up to someone in the restaurant." I said, "Mom, I'm not going to eat. I can't eat." And so anyway, she finally acquiesced and gave the gentleman my tip money. I was working for his meal. So the servant heart she helped create just translates into my teen, my adolescent, my adult. I'm over 50. And so, I believe that, the homeless people, really, some are by choice, and no matter the reason, they're still God's image bearers and they need our help. So that's just been my personal hobby. I don't know if you call it a hobby, my personal choice for years to help. So
Excellent. Let's move on and see if you can just give us a brief idea of your goals and your platforms when we come back. I think we're going to take a quick break. So somebody please let out the dog. And can I get a coffee? Just kidding. We'll see you in a minute. Come right back.
My name is General Mike Flint, and I strongly, wholeheartedly endorse John Bennett to be the next representative from District 2 for the great state of Oklahoma. John is a fighter, he is a leader, he's exactly what we need.
General Flint, thank you. You're a true friend and a patriot. My name is John Bennett, and I approve this message.
MicMeow, welcome back to the Conservative Continuum. I'm here with Scott Esk and Valerie Walker, both running for House District 87. We're going to switch it up this time, okay? We'll go to Valerie first, And we'll ask you, we'd like to know a little bit, if you could tell us just about your platform, what your goals are, should you win the nomination, and if there's any specific issues that you feel need to be addressed, whether it be locally in House District 87, the greater state of Oklahoma, or even nationally, anything that's going on.
Well, my platform is back to the basics. We have got to get back to the basics. Reading, writing, arithmetic. When I played softball from age 8 to 46, when the game was going off kilter and we couldn't get our basic functions down, Coach would always say, "Get back to the basics. Do your drills. Do your stance." We absolutely have to get back to the basics in school. The ESL,
Yes.
emotional social learning, gotta
Yes.
go. Are you kidding me? Why are we poisoning our children's minds? I mean, it is hard enough to grow as a child, to come into, junior high. It's confusing enough. No, none of that. The CRT's got to go. Even if there are laws, I learned that there's a certain judge that let the mask mandate stand, and that's traumatizing our children. Stop it. It's ridiculous. Parental freedom is absolutely the way to go. Some call it school choice.
Yeah.
I call it parental freedom. If you want to send your child to public school, fine. And furthermore, the money follows the child.
Yes.
This is not a, this is not a something that can be. Children are our resources. We cannot pollute and kill our resources.
Right.
So in the Second Amendment, I am absolute, like I alluded earlier, on the farm. We hunted, and if we didn't hunt, if we weren't successful at hunting, we didn't eat.
Yes.
We usually had a sidearm. What my uncle did. I learned how my father was a police officer, so I know the power of a gun, and this agenda that, the tighter gun control. No. Absolutely not tighter gun control. And it's horrible what happened recently. It's tragic. When I was hearing it on the news, I'm like, 40 minutes? Where's the 40 minutes? You're going to hear something. Why wouldn't the police call all that? So that's an agenda used by the left, the extreme left, or the left, to take our guns away. And no, we're not going to give up our guns.
Well, and we need to focus on mental health issues for sure. And we know now that with the mask mandates, those children are falling behind. They couldn't hear, they couldn't breathe. Yeah. Scott, I'd like to turn it over to you and kind of give us an idea about your platforms, your goals, and those specific issues.
Okay. As I mentioned before, the state nullification is a very powerful weapon at our disposal. The fact that we have a fake presidency now, I have no more respectful name for the one who has placed himself in the White House, or his handlers have placed him in the White House, than Cheater Joe. I don't call him president anything. He's not qualified to be an official pooper scooper operator anywhere, and he needs to go. We had 5 of the 6 worst fraud states: Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania.
Preach.
Were all Republican majority legislatures. Why they certified electors that had no business certifying? Because they were able to see how much monkey business you and refusing to certify doesn't mean you've proven fraud. It means we see so much irregularity in this that we're going to investigate this before we certify it. I thought that was the American way. but apparently it's not now.
And what about in the state of Oklahoma too? You know, we have to look at ours as
Yes.
well.
Yes, we had a gentleman named Dr. Doug Frank come to the legislature about a month or two ago, and he gave me some eye-opening things to think about. He said that, you know, we have our paper trail with our paper ballots. That's a great thing. Don't change that.
No.
But we were sliding closer and closer, well, just little by little, towards some of the big problems that are in the worst of the fraud states. And those things are a matter of our legislature making sure that elections, it's very hard to cheat on elections. The mail-in ballots, we don't have general mail-in ballots like in some of the states, so we're better off there. But we do have where you can request it for any reason, and that should not be the case, I don't think. So there are quite a few things, and a lot of things I still don't know about it, but I'm talking to people in the Oklahoma Liberty Watch. I think that's the name of the organization.
Yes.
That they've done canvassing where they found some disturbing results when they've done the canvassing. Canvassing reveals how credible the election results are.
And the chain of custody and all of that goes in
Yes.
place with that.
Yeah, whether or not you're trying to fraud somebody, if you don't have chain of custody, it's very vulnerable.
Well, you have to look at it. You have to look at it and, you know, see whether you believe there's fraud or not. You know, you have to be able to say what's going on so that we can learn from this election into the next election. And we know that the last election there was just a ton of things that changed, you know, due to COVID.
Yes.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, I don't want to, you were asking about several things, so I'll try
Yes.
to just be concise
Please.
about this. The illegal alien problem we've had, and I've heard several people as I've started to talk to people in the district, they're very concerned about that. We did have a law that was passed a few years ago. I don't remember the bill number, and it was touted as a big solution to the illegal immigration problem in Oklahoma, but it didn't. We still have a lot of illegal aliens that have stayed. We need to drive them out. I mean, just to be frank, they don't have a right to be here. They're changing our demographics. They're costing us a lot of tax money. They're not a net tax saver, they're a net tax waster. And we need to deal with that, and I'm willing to talk to the experts about what we need to do about that, whether we need to do more than we are right now. I agree with Valerie, abortion it's murder. We should not be tolerating it in any way. And in any, I think we had something that passed recently that I think it outlawed abortion except for exceptions.
The accountability, the abortion civil liberty. The abortion civil liability bill, HB 4327 is, I think, what you're talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
Which, you know, outlawed abortion except for in the cases of incest or rape. You know, so.
And I agree. I don't agree with the exceptions, but whatever we can do to get to the point where abortion is considered murder and is dealt with as first-degree murder on the part of the abortionist, not the doctor. I don't consider him a doctor. I consider him an abortionist.
Right.
I consider him a murder.
That's right.
And then there's something else.
Well, this might be a good time for us to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about different legislation in Oklahoma and what our candidates think about that. Somebody let the dog back in. Thanks. Welcome back to the Conservative Continuum. I'm MicMeow. I'm here with Scott Esk and Valerie Walker. They're running for House District 87. We're going to do our rapid fire segment. So we're going to talk about different legislation here in Oklahoma, and then there is some national legislation that I'd like to get their input on. So we'll start with you. Scott, I want to talk to you about the HB 2335 bill that was voted on today. I think it was yesterday and today, where the Senate wanted to vote on passing the bill that prohibited state government from requiring vaccine passports and mandating vaccines. So I don't know the outcome of that, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, it's a little bit of a delicate balance because I believe in the rights of somebody who has a business to do as he pleases to promote his business to make it successful. He's not going to always be popular with his employees when he has his policy or he has to change something. But I think we're dealing with some pretty sacred rights here as well. I've never believed, and I actually talked to John Eccles, state representative in Oklahoma City, and he's an attorney. He answered my questions about. He said that we have protection already for those who want their medical information protected. Nobody can force you to divulge your private medical information. And then he referred to a term, I think it was medical rape, where he was talking about that you cannot be forced to take a foreign substance into your body. Okay, so you can't ask somebody if they've been vaccinated. That's their private medical information, and you can't make them be vaccinated, take a pill or anything. Whether you're an employer or anybody else, I don't think the right of employer reaches that far to abrogate those civil rights that they've recognized we've had for a long time. Absolutely. So I'm very much for. I'm against mandates. I'm against all the unnecessary panic we've had with COVID. The government and the media have seemed like they've teamed up to give us some really draconian policy that's been just totally counterproductive, made us much worse off than we were before. So I think the pandemic has been the biggest problem, not the virus that has been a very mild virus that's very treatable, but they didn't want us to treat it the way that we were able to.
And maybe even got some of that, cut out because there hasn't been a whole lot of transparency, about the effects of the vaccine. There's been a lot of changing, from the CDC standpoints and their guidance, even as we've gone through it. But let me get your input on it, Valerie. This bill that they were going to vote to prohibit the vaccine passports and mandating vaccines.
I mirror a lot of Scott's, beliefs, but mandates, absolutely not. And I agree, our businesses should be protected. However, I vehemently disagree and disapprove of any mandate. It's like I had a discussion with one legislator, and he thought he had the right to protect his employees by mandating that they get the vaccine. And I said, why would you do that? Why would you ask them? Do you ask them if they have HIV? Do you ask them if they have cancer? You're absolutely taking away their freedom and their liberty, and I absolutely am against that. This is government overreach. There's no need, there's no room in our republic for government dictating to us. Absolutely no mandates for the mask or the vaccine. If I want to, of course, I want to have that free choice. That's right. Everyone's like, oh, my body, my choice. Yeah, how about that?
and protect the most vulnerable, those patients with cancer, those patients who are elderly. Nobody's saying don't protect those people, but absolutely we should have that choice. It shouldn't be mandated that I have to carry around a passport, Okay, I'd like to know what you see in light of everything that's the tragedy that happened in Texas. So absolutely devastating. But in Oklahoma, what do you think we need to do in order to better protect our children in our schools?
Well,
And maybe we already do that. I'll be honest, I don't have children in school right now, so maybe we have, armed, guards or,
Mm.
systems set up so that only one door is locked. I'm not sure about that, but
well, I was a substitute teacher for many years in the Putnam City district, and there are safeguards set up. There are lockdowns. They'll call out a code, and the children are to go to their designated areas. There are armed, what do they call school policemen resources? Yeah,
Mhm.
community resource. Um, I'm gonna step out, and probably people are gonna lose their mind over this, but I say, let the teachers carry a gun.
Mhm.
I mean, if that teacher that had been locked in, and still it boggles my mind, 40 minutes, and there's no one calling the police, there's no one responding, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
So I think more, I mean, we already have the resources. We need to have more police officers in place to patrol and our schools. So I would say to really protect our children, empower them with knowledge and let them, if they really want to the touchy feelies, let's be logical about this. If there's a danger, here's how we're going to respond to it. Here's how you're going to be safe.
Mm.
Not this, oh, big wolf, in the background, and we're going to jump out. Yeah, we still need that. But come on, back to basics, people.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott, what are your thoughts on how we would protect our children in Oklahoma better in our
Okay.
schools?
Well, as long as we think that government has a legitimate role in educating children, and I frankly don't, but that's a situation we're going to have for a while, no matter what I personally can do if I were in the legislature. Um, but in the situation we're in right now, I agree with Valerie that we need to, well, what do the private schools do
Mm-hmm.
to protect children? They allow certified or otherwise qualified people
Yes.
to guard them. I don't know if they have private security or if faculty are involved, maybe a combination. I need to talk to more people about that. But they have probably a much more responsible policy than the government or public schools have, which is there's a gun-free zone. You may not carry a weapon here, and,
Right.
and who obeys that?
Right.
Law-abiding people, but not criminals.
Right.
So we're letting the criminals do whatever they want. That was very disgusting to see the Uvalde, Texas situation where the police failed miserably in protecting the children once they saw that there was a crisis, and every second counted, and it was many, many minutes before they ever took action. There were parents that were saying, if you don't go in there, we're going to go in ourselves, and I couldn't have blamed them at all.
Right. Right.
But
they wouldn't have been able to stop me. Yeah.
but
That's right.
the gun issue in schools, I think, is a secondary concern. I hope I don't get on the wrong step on your toes when I say this, but there's already educational malpractice being done in the schools with them being taught evolution as a fact,
Yeah.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
with as Valerie pointed out, the CRT, the critical race theory, all these things that try to divide people and distract them from education. And I want to see true education restored to Oklahoma so we can be the envy of the nation. And I think we have the power to do it.
Oh, so true, so true. We're going to be back in just a moment, and just come on back when you're ready.
My city get crazy like Babylon. I can't be the girl that don't cap it. My city get crazy like Babylon. I can't be the girl that don't capitalize. How they study
Welcome back to the Conservative Continuum. I'm MicMeow. This is Scott Esk, Valerie Walker. They're both running for House District 87. At this time, I'd like to just kind of give you guys an opportunity to just kind of discuss. I want you to tell us where we can find you. I wanted, there was so much good information that you all had given us, but I want you to tell us where we can find you on the web. I want you to let us know any information that you want us to know about you, and just kind of bring us on home.
I'll let you go.
Oh, okay. You're
She's so
deferring.
generous.
Like the coach that says we'll defer till the second half to kick off or something like that. Yeah, just I am at askforesk.com is my website. It's not quite up yet. It will be hopefully in a week or so. And on my trying to find something.
Facebook.
Yeah, on Facebook, I don't have a campaign website just yet, but to avoid some conflict with the Facebook police, I should say. My name on Facebook is Scott Reed rather than Scott Esk. That's where you'll find me. So feel free to communicate with me, variety of means, to ask me any questions. I'm trying to be totally transparent. I want to see the Oklahoma law be amenable to God's word. In the Old Testament civil law, people were held very accountable. Justice was swift, and the innocent were protected. We need to get back to that point in our country. We have some really big problems that it'll be an uphill battle to battle some of these things, but we have the power to do it. We just need to get enough good, decent people, and I think there are a lot of decent people, both in this district and in Oklahoma in general, to be able to overcome some of the huge problems, the fake presidency, the Black Lives Matter communist movement. I'm not against Black Lives Mattering, but I'm against communist movements that seek to simply divide people for no good reason. I am reminded of a statement or a motto that that is in the John Bird Society that I've been a member of for years. Less government, more individual responsibility, and with God's help, a better world. I think we can get back to that.
Valerie, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me around town. I'm out and about. I don't know that my website is up yet like Scott's. I think for the same reason, but it's electvaleriewalker.com. Excuse me, electvaleriewalker.com. And on Facebook, it's Valerie Walker for OK HD-87 and just Valerie Walker on Facebook, and then I have my page. And I'm trying to, it's locked out for some reason, so I have to authenticate and do that, but I am on there. And and what else did you want?
Oh, just if you had anything else, any opinions or any last words you'd like to share with our audience.
Okay, yeah, I have lots of opinions.
Me too.
Well,
Me too.
So to echo what Scott said about the Old Testament, why I don't believe stoning gays should be done. I do believe that we should not accept all these lifestyles, all these, there's a male and female. I'm sorry to break it to y'all. There's male and female, and the day that either gender can show me without medical intervention or manipulation being able to give birth, well, for males, I know females can, then I'll say, yeah, we're on to something here. I'm sorry. I believe love the sinner, hate the sin.
Mhm.
And excuse me, I wasn't taught to hate someone because they're black, brown, yellow, white. I wasn't taught that.
Mm-mm.
So I don't understand that. So I think we need to just dispel, like Scott said, just dispel the fact that, blacks are against white and whites are against blacks and all that, because when I woke up and saw that on the news, I thought, whoa, they didn't ask me. I don't believe that at all. And the vast majority of our district, I don't think believe it either. And so I just will say that we do have a lot of great potential. We are a red state, and I want it to be not because of the blood of the innocent. We're guilty when we let abortion be our way of life and accept it. I think that's something we need to abolish. There's too many. It's $1 billion industry, and it's supporting the pharmaceuticals. It's a bad thing, bad thing. And I will just say in closing that I am thankful for the reading, writing, and arithmetic, the back to basics that we had when I was in school, and I will continue to push for that and this is a spiritual thing that's going on, people. Let's just be real.
Right.
And hate is a powerful spirit, but love does conquer all. Love is more powerful. The love of Jesus Christ in us, God the Father, I know will propel us to be the city on the hill, to be all that God intended us to be as citizens and as legislators. And I'm just going to say that love needs to it's okay to say, I love my country. That's on my Facebook. I love my country and I'm proud of it. And love is just more powerful, and real love, like from God, true love.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Valerie. I appreciate you both coming in today.
Our pleasure.
Yes, thank
Somebody
you.
let the dog out again. Well, that's all the time we we have for you today. I hope you all enjoyed the interviews that you saw and got lots of information about Scott and Valerie. I'd like to thank them both for coming today, for answering all the questions, and for just having a great time for me, or with me. So, if you would, please follow us on patreon.com/MicMeow, MicMeow, and have a great day.